So, welcome back to South First Inside View. It is over here that I will speak to our reporters from South India on why they chose a particular story, what interested them, and also why they finally decided to pursue it and report or write about it. And today I have with me my colleague Diksha. She covers community and culture and is based right here in Bengaluru, where I'm also. Diksha, thank you for being here with us.
Welcome, Nolan. Thank you for having me, and I'm really excited to discuss my story today.
Perfect. Now, we have chosen Diksha's story, which you will actually be able to read it on our website. It's called Live Theatre Culture in Bengaluru Struggles with Dwindling Footfall and College Disinterest. Now, I personally have always liked theatre when compared to movies, especially plays. In fact, Diksha, I remember the first time I went and watched, and I remember enjoying a play was, I think, 2007, 2008 in Glasgow. It was Jack and the Beanstalk. I think it was after watching that play that when I came back over here to India, I decided that I'm going to watch many more. And I've done that, especially at Rangashankara. So, but tell me, theatre is so interesting. Plays are so interesting. There's so much energy. Why are we seeing a change? Why are people not interested? Why are colleges and schools not uh, showing more interest? What did you find while working on the story?
So to begin with, Nolan, I have to tell the viewers and our listeners that I'm not from Bengaluru. I was not born and brought up here. So I was not very to the Bengaluru theatre culture, but I particularly enjoy theatre anywhere in the world, as you said. So my colleague at South First was the one who was like, she's born and brought up here, and she saw a dwindling footfalls in theatres, and that colleges are not anymore sending out kids to, they're basically not encouraging students to take theatre anymore. So she was the one who pitched this idea to me, and I was interested because I did want to trace the history of theatre here in Bangalore and how it is at the moment. So when I began my reporting, I spoke to a few theatre artists, and they told me the current scenarios. Especially one of them who had gained the kind of knowledge he has in theatre and is currently an artist. It was because that he was encouraged in his particular college to take up on theater, and he right now teaches theater as well. But still, I have to mention, I have to give credit to Bangalore that there is still a good theater culture here in Bangalore, given that there are so many theaters here and so many artists who participate in it, and so many stakeholders who still show interest in it and basically fund it.
So, Diksha, before you
So
go ahead, you said that you were not born over here. So you were born and brought up in Mumbai. So since you covered this story, what's the difference between the theatre culture in Mumbai vis-a-vis Bengaluru?
I
Since you have reported this story now.
Yeah, I know I might get some trolling for this, but I
That's all
have to
right. It's
say
very
Mumbai
good.
has a better Mumbai has a great theatre culture. Maharashtrians are I have a friend who is in theatre. I've actually done a tour with her when she's gone to Kolhapur, when she's gone to different places in Maharashtra where they do this theatre culture, and it's so amazing. The music is amazing, and we have also growing up we used to have a Malvan festival very close to my place, and I remember going there, sitting down for the dry fish and the theater and the place that they used to have. It used to be amazing. I do regret that I haven't been to any place since I've come here in Bangalore, and maybe hopefully I'll change that soon. But I do have a thing that most of the shows on Book My Shows, you don't see these theater shows on Book My Shows. So if somebody wants to see, if, like for example, I was just checking if there are any concerts happening here and ghazals or Sufis happening, you don't see plays there. You don't see them much being advertised on
I
a
thought
platform where a
Rangashankara.
person like me would see.
No, but Diksha, I thought Rangashankara does put its
They
plays.
do.
Okay.
They do. It's on their website. You'll see posters and stuff like that, but it doesn't have that kind of marketing like a comedy, stand-up comedy would have. Or like for example, there's a circus happening in my area, and the posters are in literally every other walls I see. I am so tempted to go and see it because it's just everywhere right now. I don't think theater has that kind of marketing that it's in your face and you're like, oh, this something is happening in my area and I should probably go and see. And
What's
coming
the
back to the
reason?
college theater,
No, what's the reason?
sorry.
I mean, since you spoke to a lot of people
Yeah.
about this, what could be the possible reason that they're not marketing it in the way that comedy shows or stand-up comedies are being marketed?
When I spoke to the artists that I was speaking, they did say they do have trouble selling tickets. So they were like, so the artist who I spoke to, they did mention we do not gauge the situation from our first or second show because it's mostly friends, family of the artist performing or the people behind the play, basically. So they always say it's the third or the fourth show which tells you if we made it or not. Also, they one more thing that they mentioned was like these small theater groups which come up, they very quickly fizzle out. They don't have a like there are very small groups which have still sustained this industry basically. So they do one or three, two or three shows, and then they see that there is no they can't basically take this play. They take this event for a beyond a month or so, and so they fizzle out. And there are so many small groups which have basically fizzled out. And the most I would not say college is the only factor. There is an variety of factors including cultural interest and change of cultural interest basically, and a reduced emphasis in the theater programs in educational institutions. So for example, like the students, like the current generation of students and base, I don't want to say Gen Zs, the early millennials and stuff like that, they are not coming to theaters. It's not the place to be. It's not advertised as a place to be. It's usually you'll see intellectuals. It's if I talk to somebody of my age and I tell them I'm going out for a play tonight, they'll assume I'm being forced to, or I got a free ticket or something.
So
It's
what
not
you're
something
trying
they'll think that
so what you're trying to say is that only old people go and watch plays.
that is what has become of it. That is what most people think of. Like if I tell somebody I have gotten a bar clubbing tickets for my parents, they're gonna look at me with weird eyes. And if I tell them I've gotten them play tickets, then they'll be like, "Oh, you're such a great daughter."
Is that what you, when you, in fact, you can read about the story that Diksha has written on her website. You have a subheader called The Struggle to Stay Relevant.
Hmm.
Do tell me something about that. That's interesting because you have these OTT platforms. We are a digital world now. There's a huge digital divide that we have seen. And this important point that you made now that only old people go and watch plays, so which means if you like plays, I like plays, we're all old.
Yeah, it's what has become this narrative. That is what has become because as you said, the struggle to stay relevant. This is something the artist even mentioned. They were like, key earlier people would stand outside these theaters and queue up for these tickets, and like they would actually queue up for this ticket. Nobody does that anymore, given the fact that we also have a one click for like we are usually it's all the tickets are click away, basically a click away. So they buy it online, but that's not the case with them. They are not Their tickets are not even getting sold, and it's because they are not relevant anymore. So for example, if you see something which has come back into relevancy, if you see some of the old movies which didn't make much tickets back then are being re-released. It's because of the cult they have, and they know this particular following will go back and watch them and make them famous. For example, right now there is this movie which has been, I think, a old Shah Rukh Khan movie has been re-released today, and people are going back and watching it because there's a cult following of it. For example, Andaz Apna Apna boxed, like it tanked when the box office. If you release it today, so many people are gonna go watch it and they're gonna make more money than they did back in there. It's because it's became relevant over the period of time. Theater saw an opposite of what happened. They lost the relevancy. But for example, if something happens and there's a cult following for it, and suddenly they will gain relevancy. But then that's the artist was saying that is not happening because there is a gap. The students are not being exposed to it anymore in college. The students are not being told about theater. They're not being taught about theater. They're not being encouraged to pursue theater as any form means,
So what is
or
stopping
even
colleges? Okay, no, but what is stopping colleges and schools from actually having a class on theater or having these theater festivals? What is stopping them?
so, for example, when I spoke to him, he told me that it's there. There was a time where they were like, there was an active department, like an active drama department, theater groups. They were where they would call this artist, other artists to teach and take workshop and everything. And there were clearer spaces in colleges to explore them. but it is not happening anymore because there is a wide range of courses now out there. And like for a parent, somebody who wants their children to become doctor, engineer, something or the other, they don't want their kids to be being distracted by a theater program. They don't want them to, like, they would think that it's not relevant anymore for their kids. It's not necessary anymore. And it's
But
that is why many colleges have stopped it.
what is strange, I remember speaking to a friend of mine. She was doing her medical course, and that's in the US. And I remember when she came to Mysore, and I asked her, "So how is it? How is it going?" She says, "I'm also learning to play the violin. That is part of a medical course. Apart from the violin, she's attending English literature classes, uh, so many other things. So I just don't understand the concept that if you want to become an engineer or a doctor or a scientist, that you cannot also pursue other arts, music, theater. In fact, it makes the person even better. This is what I personally believe. Who
Universities
knows that that
outside.
particular student would really not want to be an engineer or doctor, but actually would want to pursue a career in theater or
I think
something,
that's
be a
what parents
musician.
fear. I think that's what parents fear, that child might realize this is not my
Okay,
calling.
so don't
No, yeah,
don't.
I agree with
Okay.
what you're saying. Universities outside do boost. They prefer students and like a wide range of student who has a background in various cultural activities, who has various other talents despite just like knowing English and reading books basically. But yeah, when I spoke to him, he did say that this shift is a reflection of like a broader cultural change where like performing arts and theaters and all this are overshadowed basically by the commercial viable pursuits. Like you have to see if it's making money for you, is what it is. So that is why the college have reduced these courses. And also we have to, if we are calling out people, it is also because of the rapid growth of digital media, like which offers instant entertainment. Why am I going and watching out plays if I can watch it on YouTube?
Netflix and Amazon. True. I mean,
Yeah, if
easier.
it's there online, why am I, like for example, even like if we go for this is a very change of topic, book readers. Nobody is buying hardback paperback books anymore. You can download the PDF and read it online. You
But there's a
have Kindle.
difference. But there's a difference when you actually hold a physical book.
You hold
The
a book
smell
and
of
you
it.
read it,
The
and
yes.
yeah, there is obviously a difference, but also we don't have time or and also sometimes money. Something the theater artist told me was like these prices, these ticketing prices are not cheap. They're not 100 rupees.
Hmm.
They are like they range again, given it changes via the theater, the play, the group, how and the performance as well. And maybe a college going kid would not want to budget it their small amount of pocket money to a theater every month or every year. Maybe they'll do it once in a while just for Instagram or so, but they won't become a avid follower of theater given the theater ticketing amount as well.
Diksha, now in your story, you have spoken about the challenges. You talk about traffic. You talk about time. Now, I just want to throw these ideas here. What if the ticket prices are less? What if these plays are, there's a particular time that where everyone can go and watch them, maybe on weekends, not on weekdays, because I've seen many of these, many a times, these plays are uh, placed on weekdays when it's not easy for you to reach. You finish
And
your work at
also
around
they
6 o'clock.
run
Yeah,
out till like 1 o'clock, 10, like
true.
past your 10,
You
10
you
p.m.
you you finish working at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Then keeping in mind Bangalore traffic, if you have to reach a particular place, say Rangashankar or somewhere, and the play is slated for 7 o'clock or 7:30, you're not going to reach there. And it's a weekday. You have work. So if they maybe change these times, keeping in mind Bangalore traffic, drop the ticket prices, trial if they can experiment. Do you suppose things might change? Bring in colleges or host these
Yeah,
plays in colleges, in college, in educational institutions. Do you think things might change?
yeah, this is what they used to do back then, that they would host it in colleges. And that is also how the artist I spoke to. He saw a play, got inspired, and spoke to the person who came for the workshop. And that is how his journey began. Coming to the venues, I agree with exactly what you're saying, because that's also what I heard when I was reporting for the story and I was collecting information. They said the venues are so far away, given that we have such various theaters here, like for example, Rangashankara, Prabhat Kala, and all the convention centers that we have, they're all in the different places of the cities. And Bangalore, as you said, the traffic, obviously you will
The biggest issue.
like, yeah. Anywhere you have to go and also come back home. Like you're not just seeing how much time you're reaching there, you have to figure out when you're gonna come back and all those things. Yeah. And
And
when
if you
I
don't have a vehicle of your own, you don't have metro connectivity. And then if you have to book a cab or an auto, they don't come.
it feels like too much of an hassle to go
Yes.
and watch this play. I think as the artist said, it's only families and friends who are coming out and supporting. It's a colleague, it's an office friend, it's a family, it's a loved ones or somebody who is like going out of their way and making this because they want to support what you're doing. But then right now, something also interesting that I learned, that it might not be similar to theater, but it's a branch out. There are many niche places, like for example black box and stuff, where they have started out experimenting and giving intimate performances. Like for example, one person, not exactly stand up, but somebody coming out and doing an improv show, or people coming out to watch. But this is not on a large scale. This is not a big group, theater group, which is doing out and putting out this performance, which they have worked on hardly for like so many months. This is small groups. These are like small individuals, or maybe one individual or two individual putting out small shows and small plays and acts together. And people are coming for this. People are preferring this over the whole uh, thumb jam of basically the theater. So there is a small niche group which has created, maybe it is a small light to this whole match and it might catch fire soon, but I think that's a long way to go. Even the artist
Tell me
agrees with what
something.
I
Is there a difference between English plays and Kannada plays or regional language plays? Do you see any sort
definitely.
of difference in that? And I just want to know because I have really not attended any Kannada plays. I've normally only watched English plays. And I think there are a lot of plays in regional languages which are really, really, really fabulous. And after reading your story, I think I would want to actually go and maybe experiment and see how different they are. But is there a difference?
There is definitely a difference, because as Indians we connect a lot to our mother tongue. And because we as I said, I grew up in Maharashtra, I learned Marathi. So if I go to a Marathi play, I really connect to it. Like I've gone to one or two plays back in Maharashtra, and I was definitely inspired. I sat there the entire time. I couldn't take my eyes off them because it was just so, you just like feel like you are, it's basically you connect with the artist, you connect with the songs, the dance, everything. Also, I have to say, I am from Karnataka, and Yakshagana is a big part of where I come
I
from.
was about
There
to
is no
mention
difference.
that.
Yeah, that is no difference, and that is something I grew up watching. Earlier they used to run till 5 in the morning. I sat there, I slept in the tent and then came back home, but I never missed Yakshagana, watching Karnataka Yakshagana. So I know it's much different from where theaters are, but I think they all fall under one branch. So Yakshagana, I have, as much as I have connected with Yakshagana, I don't think I've connected with English plays, because you have a mother tongue connect, and you understand it, and you basically know the stories. Like for example, yakshaganas are usually stories of mythical stories of your gods and stuff. So basically you know the story, so you connect with it, and watching it come alive in front of you has to be one of the greatest experience. So I definitely encourage you watch a Kannada
Interesting.
play.
No, interesting point you made over here that you need to connect. Do you suppose that the plays that are being sort of produced today do not have that connect with the youth? I mean, they're
Maybe.
good. They're
Yes.
good. I'm not saying they're bad, but maybe they're still something in the past. And if directors can come out with ideas that are relevant, because we spoke about relevancy, relevant for Gen Z and Gen X, and I don't know which is going to come from 2025 onwards. Maybe
Gen
that
beta.
will Gen Beta, yes. Okay, maybe that will change things. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Definitely, definitely. I agree with what you're saying, because I'll tell you this. So I my friend is a Maharashtrian, and I've gotten her so many times back home in Kundapura, and she's seen so many yakshaganas with me, and she's come a long way. The first yakshagana she saw, I had to basically sit down and explain her what is happening, what it is, what story it is, and everything. I think the last time she went, she gave me a shush, and she's like, "I'm watching something. Shut up." So she's come a long way, and it's only because she connected throughout the years. It wouldn't have happened if she came 1 year and then, she saw it 15 years later. She would have said, "Oh, I remember seeing this with my friend. I just don't remember
The
what is
connection is
said."
very
Now,
important.
now she has connected it so much because she keeps coming back home with me every time. She knows what it is. She knows what the story is happening, and she sat there with me till 5 in the morning, watched it. It's only because there's a connect. I've only connected with Marathi plays because I grew up there. I know the stories. I have friends. I've toured with them. I've gone to so many places with them, Kolhapur, Ratnagiri, and places. And I saw. And when I say plays, we have to say there are obviously mythical plays. There are plays with hard knowledge. There are with like big morals and stuff like that. There are also fun plays. There are like fun stories and stuff like that. As I said, I've gone on tour with my friend. She was playing this mistress role of a, and it was a very comedy, funny play. You connect to those as well because this is just like it's happening on your screen and it's these people playing a part. It's nothing different than a movie. But only thing are these people don't get famous as movie stars.
Perfect. Perfect. So can we say that all is not lost? I mean, from
No, it's not.
after you researched and reported on this, all is not lost?
All is not lost as long as we, like, for example, I think you can take a friend out today to go watch them a play with you, and maybe that will become your thing. We were not born with mobile phones. We got addicted because we were on it every day.
You're old.
So if we start watching a play every month, and we'll obviously get connected to it. Everybody who started reading a book picked up the first book, and they have a journey now today. It's only because you start with one thing, and that's how it snowballs basically. So I
True.
think you and I should go and watch a Kannada play to begin with.
I think we should do that and drag everybody else in our office to come and watch
Office and take them. Yeah.
and pray that they don't sleep.
If they sleep, we're gonna take their names next podcast.
Let's do
We're
that.
gonna call them out.
Let's do that. But thank you, Diksha, for speaking. It was a lovely conversation.
It was great speaking to you outside of office.
All right. See you then. Bye.
Bye.